raining, just a bit grey. And did you have a good weekend? I had quite a chilled weekend, and I'm looking forward to chatting with you this morning. A few things to get through, such as topics. The Warner Brothers takeover by Netflix. Is this a good thing or bad thing? We'll be delving into that. Avatar 3 is out in the cinemas on the 19th of December, so we can have a little chat about that as well. And while we're talking about Avatar, I thought we might chat a little bit about James Cameron because he has come a very long way. And as an aspiring filmmaker myself, is somebody who I really look up to, particularly with his earlier films such as Terminator and Aliens. And obviously, Titanic was one of the biggest films of all time. And he seems to be able to have this continuous repetition of success. And I believe he's one of the, if not the only director, certainly one of the few directors to have a film gross more than $2 billion. And he's done that a couple of times now. So I just really wanted to chat about Netflix and Warner Brothers. What does this mean for those of us that are subscribed to the channel? I got an email come through and it said basically that it was from Netflix and it was saying that they've taken over Warner Brothers, but it's not strictly true at the moment because yes, they have proposed a deal and it's reportedly worth 82.7 billion, but it's got an equity value of $72 billion. No, I don't know about you, but I wouldn't mind just 1% of that. So if you want to buy up my YouTube channel, Netflix, you can buy it for 1% of 72 billion, however much that may be. Now, this is interesting because Warner Brothers put themselves out on the market and they've kind of divided themselves because you've got Warner Brothers Discovery, but there's so many different parts of the company under the Warner Brothers brand that operate as individual companies. For example, the Universal Warner Brothers Studios, they are a separate entity to the movies, although they're obviously connected because they have the movies at the theme parks. So the theme park division is something separate. What they're selling here would appear to be the film side of it. So that's your big franchises, Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings. Another big one is DC, of course. And what does this takeover mean for the DCU? I don't know. With reports that James Gunn's contract with Warner Brothers is up for renewal next year, his contract will come to an end at the same sort of time as this deal goes through, because although they're saying that they've bought Warner Brothers, Netflix, technically they haven't at the moment. This still has to be approved, I would imagine, with Congress and the Monopolies Division if they have one in the States. So yeah, it's interesting. So the cash and stock transaction is valued at 27.75 per Warner Brothers share. So this is what the shares are selling for, $27.75. And so that's given it the valuation of 82.7 billion. The transaction is expected to close after the previously announced separation of Warner Brothers Discovery's Global Networks division and Discovery Global. So Discovery Global is still going to be holding some say into the deal. So they separated the companies and made Warner Brothers Discovery a separately public entity, which is how Netflix is going to be buying them. The acquisition brings together two pioneering entertainment businesses. Obviously, Netflix pioneering, they started off with DVD hiring, like a little video store. So, but they sent you the videos, like a DVD, like Blockbusters. This is Netflix kind of brought down the end of Blockbusters with their model of supplying DVDs to people at their home addresses, not having a restriction how long you kept the films or TV shows, and then you post them back and you get another one. There was a rival company, I think it was called Love Film, which had a similar model, but I believe that got bought out by Sky in the UK. And Netflix has obviously gone on to change with the times and offer a streaming. Initially, Netflix didn't have their own series when they started, so we didn't have Stranger Things, we didn't have Three-Bodied Problem, we didn't have the classics that they've now got. So they've gone on to become a successful business streaming and then started to produce their own. So the acquisition will bring two pioneering entertainment businesses, combining Netflix's innovation, and you can't deny the fact that Netflix have been very innovative with their business model, and they've been able to adapt to that, and the best-in-class, becoming the best-in-class streaming service. And Warner Brothers has a century-long tradition of making films, King Kong as well. And the Monsterverse is also wrapped up with Warner Brothers, although they're New Line Warner Brothers. I think New Line fund the films and then Warner Brothers distributes them. TV shows that Warner Brothers are responsible for, such as the Big Bang Theory and Spartacus, Sopranos, and Game of Thrones, they're all under the Warner Brothers banner, as well as Friends. So Netflix did have Friends on the platform in the UK, at least until recently, so perhaps Friends will be coming back. The interesting thing is, with this email that I got from Netflix, it's clearly stated that my Netflix subscription isn't going to change. So it's still going to carry on its business as normal until the end of next year. This will put the combination of Warner Brothers and Netflix together on a similar par with Disney, and hopefully we'll be able to have some competition with Disney, because Disney went through a phase of snapping up all these different franchises and brands, Aliens, Predator, just to name a few, from 20th Century Fox. Obviously they got the MCU and the Fox Marvel characters in there as well. So hopefully this, I'm kind of on the fence as to whether or not this is going to be a success. Is this a good thing or a bad thing? I think this is potentially a bad thing because it's taken away the independence and the independence of the creators to have these big conglomerates competing. This will effectively be like Alien Earth for real. We're going to end up with only having 5 massive corporations that are all in charge of entertainment. The decline of YouTube, and I say the decline of YouTube in quality because how many times does your favourite show get interrupted by an advert that you can't skip, which is becoming more and more frustrating. YouTube has this policy that I can't sit here and say fake news, which is legit. I don't want to do that. And yet you can have a video that will scam you for this robotic dog, which does not exist. So YouTube needs to kind of figure out where they're at with the narrative. Do they want creators? Do they want people to come on and onto their platform and share their content? Or do they just want to make money and sell you a robotic dog that is about as useful as this chair that I'm sitting on? But I digress. So hopefully this acquisition will improve the offering from Netflix and their business, because they'll be able to delve into the Warner Brothers back catalogue and put it up on Netflix. I'm hoping it remains as one subscription when it all goes through, because what the appeal of this is, as a consumer, we can have Warner Brothers and Netflix and pay one fee. At the moment, if you want the channels that Warner Brothers have, which you can't get in the UK, then that's yet another streaming service. So I really hope that this, for a consumer, comes around to be something positive, because we can have more quality shows. I'm a little bit, I don't like the word content. I'd rather have entertainment. Content is, what you put in a bag. Get a little bit frustrated when people say, oh, content creator. Yeah, technically it's true, I know, but, I'd like to think of myself as a bit more of a creative than a content creator. But, okay then, fair enough. Nice of you to pop in. Thank you. I've got a message that's been held for review. Okay then. If that's how you feel, never mind. So yeah, I mean, I think this is going to be interesting. It's not something that's going to be done and dusted over the next couple of weeks because, as I say, they're going to give it until it's going to complete this time next year, and then we'll have more of an idea and understanding as to what they're doing. They're claiming that this is going to offer more choice and more opportunities, and we'll just have to wait and see. I think what Disney have done is pretty cool with the separation with 20th Century Fox. So you've got and Star. So there's two different platforms with Disney which come on. Okay. So one film that I am looking forward to. Somebody's got out of bed the wrong side this morning, haven't they? Taylor. Never mind. And one film coming out that I'm looking forward to, which has been quite a success. Hi. Hi again. Hello, mate. How are you? So a bit later on this month, we're going to have the third film in the Avatar franchise. And Avatar is one of those films that surprises me in the fact that it's so popular and they make so much money. Yet, could you give me a one-liner from the Avatar films as opposed to Star Wars or The Italian Job from the 1960s? There doesn't seem to be a lot of cultural relevance with the Avatar films, yet they go on to make huge amounts of money. Another one for review. Taylor, if you post a comment that's actually postable, then I'll show it. But if you... Yeah, I am. I am a nerd, I'm a geek. I'm fine, thank you. How are you? How was your weekend? I had quite a nice one, chilled, relaxed. I'm getting on really well with the filming. I've managed to create the interior of one of the ships that I hope will be able to go into the show in February. I don't know if I mentioned this, but I've actually been in contact with a 3D modeler, and they're going to help me build the characters. So they'll be they will look like characters rather than these little blobs that I've been able to come up with myself. Hiya. Hi and welcome. So this is a morning stream that I do, and welcome to the channel. I'm all right, thank you. How are you? Yeah, it is. She's a second-year student in 3D modelling, and I'm really looking forward to it. We're going to do it a character at a time, but hopefully you're good. Good, I'm glad. What are you up to today, Monday? Anyone going to work? Is it still holiday weekend where you are? I'm from the UK. I'm just outside London, so yeah, it's a bit grey this morning, but it's not raining, which was such a surprise. So you wake up on a Monday morning, it's chucking it down with rain. It's not what you want, really. So Avatar and James Cameron. Cameron, for me, is, as I say, is a real inspiration. Oh, dream country. Okay, then. My dream country is Australia, where I'll be visiting very soon. So anyone excited for the Avatar films and James Cameron? Because, as I say, the cultural relevance of Avatar is one of those phenomenals because it makes a lot of money. Oh, you're from India? Okay, then. Yes, right. What part? And is it summer or winter over there, or is the weather generally the same all year round because of where you are? You're kind of in the middle, aren't you, here with India? So anyone excited for the Avatar films and James Cameron, who I thought, or still think, is quite an inspirational filmmaker, given the fact that he started off, and we'll go and run through his career, because he wasn't actually going to be a filmmaker. So James Cameron was born on the 16th of August in 1954 and is a Canadian New Zealand, although I think he aligns himself more with Canada. And he has a deep sea, he's a deep sea explorer as well. So when we had the Titan disaster 18 months ago, James Cameron kind of knows his stuff about going down to see the Titanic. So he was able to be a consultant on what possibly could have gone wrong. But he's made some. If you want a blockbuster movie with mega money in return, it seems like you need to get James Cameron on board, because since Titanic, every single film that he's made, more or less, has given us a phenomenal box office. So he was born and raised in Orantino in Canada, and he moved to California at the age of 17, enrolling at the Fulton College. Now, he began his career with the short film Ex Angeles in 1978, but he first gained recognition for his writing and direction for science fiction films with Terminator. And as a Brit, I feel really gutted that how he was treated on the set of Aliens, because the cast and crew of Aliens had helped Ridley Scott make Alien. So they were under the impression that James Cameron was this newbie from America, although he's Canadian, didn't know what he was doing. So they didn't give him the respect. And he did try and win them over, showing them what he's achieved with Terminator, because when they were making Aliens, Terminator hadn't been released in the cinema. And it just didn't work out for him. And I really do feel sorry for the guy, because he was, early on in his career, and nobody gave him the respect because they didn't bother to take the time to get to know him. But he's gone on to he's never made a film in the UK since either. And that's one thing that he said when he finished off Aliens. He just gave the crew a complete dressing down and basically said, I'm off now, and you miserable lot of people are still going to be here. And he's never made a film in the UK since for that reason. So if you want to know why he doesn't make films in the UK, that's why. So anyway, he has obviously True Lies, another classic Cameron film. Not so much of a box office, but a classic Cameron film all the same. And he has won about 3 Academy Awards for his directing. And 3 of his films, Avatar in 2009, Way of the Water, and Avatar 2009, Avatar Way of the Water 2022, and Titanic are amongst the top 4 highest grossing films of all time, with Avatar in the top until it was suppressed by Avengers Endgame, which is quite staggering, really. I mean, Titanic came out, 1999, 2000, and it held the box office record for all that time. Another producer who's made box office smash hits is obviously, I've forgotten his name, I was just going to say Steven Spielberg with E.T. E.T. held the record for the highest grossing film from 1984 right up until Titanic. I think Titanic knocked it off the charts, and that's way back then. I mean, these days films have to make $1 billion just to be profitable. But not only does James Cameron, is he a filmmaker, but he's also National Geographic Explorer and residence. He's produced many documentaries on deep sea exploration, because that's becoming more of his forte. And Ghosts of the Abyss in 2003, with Aliens of the Deep in 2005. Cameron has also contributed to underwater filming, and this is the reason why we've my football club, bit embarrassing, we got stuffed 4-0 at the weekend, is Wycombe Wanderers. So, because I lived near the area, and my dad followed Wycombe from the 50s, so yeah, I'm a Wanderer. So yeah, his passion of being underwater exploration has led him to make films about nature films about the deep sea. He's also become the first person to complete a solo dive to the descent of the bottom of the Mariana Trench, and that's the deepest part of the Earth's oceans, and also the Disperse Challenger submersible. So he was in the Disperser Challenger submersible. He is also an environmentalist and runs several sustainability businesses. And I think fair play to him. He's got the money, he's got the passion, And I think I'd be more inclined to listen to what he says about the environment than, say, Billie Eilish or a singer or somebody, possibly even Bill Gates. Because he's actually done that. He's been there and done it. You'd off my... Okay. Okay. Great. So his full name is James Francis Cameron. So he's got a middle name, in case you didn't realise. So say he was born on the 16th of August in 1954 in Canada. Now, he initially was going to be an electrical engineer, but he bailed out of college for that to pursue the career of filmmaking, and I'm quite pleased that he did, because he's certainly given me some of my favourite films of all time, particularly Aliens, and you can't deny the man's filmmaking quality and attributes to the industry. I find him quite inspirational because not only does he produce, but he writes as well. And that is something that I'd like to aspire to myself, just for the storytelling purposes, which is why I've started to do my own things here on this YouTube channel. Now, after Cameron went to high school, he enrolled at Fulton College, and that was a community college, in 1973, to study physics initially. He switched subjects to English, but left the college at the end of 1974. Cameron worked on odd jobs, including a truck driver and a high school janitor. And that might be where he got the inspiration for, was it Drive? The one of his early films with that, where they'd been chased by a lorry. So didn't realise he was a lorry driver in there. And during he learned about special effects, because he actually wasn't a film director straight away. He went into doing special effects for Battle of the Stars. I think that was one of his earlier films. And then he went on to become the writer and producer. He got the idea for Terminator, legendary. This is allegedly, and it's one of those legendary stories, because he got food poisoning. He was working on a film around the same sort of time as Battle for the Stars, and come down with food poisoning. And through the hallucinations that he had with that illness, he had the impression of a machine coming from the future to kill him. And that's allegedly how he got the inspiration for Terminator. So once he fully recovered, he obviously worked on the screenplay and the ideas of that illusion, and that's how we got the Terminator. Now, I've had a few ideas myself, not through food poisoning, but with Doctor Who, for example. And over the next couple of months, I'm going to be working on a script and maybe a audio play of a Doctor Who episode. And I'm not going to give away too much because I don't want to. But I've certainly got a few ideas on how the story will develop and who the protagonist is, who the enemy is. It's going to involve Daleks and Cybermen, I can confirm that, and the Second World War. So all of those elements, they've kind of been used in Doctor Who, but I'm going to be using them to tell a new story and hopefully tie up a few loose ends that the TV series has left us with. And I'm looking forward to doing that. So that's it for this morning. Thank you so much for joining me. What did you think of the format? I've tried to make it a little bit more organised rather than me just sit here waffling, and I've done a bit of that though. But you know what I mean. And thank you for all your comments, and those that have been publishable have been published, and some of the sillier ones that haven't been publishable have not. So if you want to get in touch with me, go to wayneblinko.com and sign up to my newsletter. I have got a new book out. It's called Return Fire and is available on all good ebook platforms. Echoes of Betrayal is continuing, and I'm going to go home shortly and record today's episode and Friday's episode as well. And yeah, thank you so much. If you're enjoying Echoes of Betrayal, then please leave me a comment on the episodes and tell me where you think the story is going. In the meantime, I'll be back tomorrow with another live and some more info to share with you. Take care of yourselves. Appreciate your support. I'll see you soon.